Hi friends, welcome to English Study Point. Today I am going to talk about some early colonial writers of America who used to write their works during colonial era in America. In today's video lecture, I am covering some few colonial writers as well as their works, but in the next part of this video lecture which will be coming on the same topic, I will cover some other colonial writers of America along with their works. Now I am beginning this video lecture by telling you first about Anne Bradshid and writers which I am telling today. These writers are also called as Puritan religious poets or writers because these Puritans are known for their quality that they are extremely religious. So they used to write their works in order to serve social as well as religious purpose. So their writings must be religious or they contain religious features. Now, I am starting this video lecture by telling you about Anne Bradshid. So, Anne Bradshid is considered to be as America's first published poet, and she is also held as first woman to have her works published in the British colonies in North America. So, North America is a place which is also called as or referred to as New England. This was a kind of place which was established by Britishers who came from Jacobean England to America, and when these people permanently settled or they planned to permanently settle in America, they decided to create their own community of land, and thus they formed a new land which is situated in northern part of America, and that part is referred to as New England. And New England was inhabited by those people who came from Jacobean England to settle in America. Now, Anne Bradshid's poetry at times upheld and also at other times criticized the Puritan faith that she was a part of. And she also highlights in her poetry drawbacks of keeping a Puritan faith. She used to write her poetry when she was rearing 8 children already, and she is also functioning as a hostess during that time and performing other domestic duties or docile works. So, in these surrounded with these conditions, she dared to write poetry in which she is able to express her own feelings, that what she is feeling during that time living in colonial period. So she dared to defy the norms and she came up to write and express her feelings. And Bradshid, she was very much inspired from English metaphysical poets. So she used to write her poetry following the fashion of or following the style of these metaphysical poets, which may include John Donne, Andrew Marvell, etc. And her most famous volume, which was titled as The 10th Muse Lately Sprung Up in America. So all the poems which she published during her lifetime, she all were published together in one poetry collection called The 10th Muse Lately Sprung in America. This is a kind of collection of her poetry which was published in the year 1650. And also there is another kind of famous work which was published by her, and that work is titled as The Author to Her Book. In this work, she describes her own feelings towards her published collection of poetry, which was titled as The 10th Muse Lately Sprung Up in America. In this work, she expresses her doubts and disappointments about her work from start to finish. Next writer that I'm talking about is Edward Taylor. So he was a colonial American poet. He was also called as a Puritan sacred poet, and he used to write his works following metaphysical as well as Baroque tradition. By using such kinds of styles in his work, he was able to express his religious views. As I have already told you that writers writing during colonial period in America, they are called as Puritan religious poets or writers, and their major or specific characteristic is that they are extremely religious in sense, and they are highly devoted. So and there is presence of intense self discipline in them. So their works highlight their own inherent qualities, and also because of they write because they want to serve social as well as religious purpose purpose. So that is why their poetry as well as their works are religious in sense. Now, his works altogether are called as the metrical history of Christianity. This is a very much important fact about Edward Taylor, that altogether his works are called as the metrical history of Christianity, and he during his lifetime published two outstanding works which increased his fame. He rose to fame by publishing two of his works, and these works are Preparatory Meditations, and another work is God's Determinations Touching His Elect, which was written in the year 1680. Next writer that I'm talking about is John Winthrop. He was hailed as a Puritan leader. He was a founder of religious revival movement called Great Awakening. In this Great Awakening, this was a kind of evangelical movement that swept Protestant Europeans as well as British Americans, especially the American colonies from about 1720s to 1740s. This movement is more related to enlightenment, and also this movement encouraged people to spread education in whole parts of the country. This John Winthrop is also responsible to found Massachusetts Bay Colony and Plymouth Colony. So he was considered as a founding figure in the formation of Massachusetts as well as Plymouth Colony. Now he this John Winthrop, he published two most famous works. First one is A Model of Christian Charity. This is a sermon which was published in the year 1630 when he was on a ship Arabella going to Massachusetts Bay Colony. While he was traveling from Europe to America, he gave sermon to the people on a ship. So this work is considered to be as most famous work. Now I am talking about his most famous journal, and that journal is the History of New England. So this is considered to be most famous work published by John Winthrop. And also I would like to add one another important fact related to this particular work, that is A Model of Christian Charity. In this work, he tries to present a deeply religious idea about how Puritans should treat one another in order to ensure the survival of their colony. So this work basically tries to present all these things. That is why this work is considered as an important work published by John Winthrop. Also, in this same work, he advocated a kind of theory, and that theory is called as American exceptionalism. This American exceptionalism is a kind of idea that which encourage that America is different from other nations. So this American exceptionalism theory is present in this work. So this is another important fact related to this particular work published by John Winthrop. Now I am talking about Michael Wigglesworth. He was also a Puritan poet and he published many poems, but three poems are considered as his most famous poems, and which are titled as The Day of Doom, or a poetical description of the great and last judgment, which was published in the year 1662. Another poem is Meat Out of the Eater. Again, this poem published in the same year. Then this last poem is God's Controversy with New England. This was also published in the year 1662. Last writer that I'm talking today in this video lecture is about Captain John Smith. So he was an English explorer, soldier, colonial governor, admirer of formation of New England in North America, and also he was an author of famous 8 volumes. So he published 8 volumes during his lifetime, and titles of those volumes I am discussing in this video lecture in the later part of this video. And also he played an important role in the establishment of the colony at Jamestown, which was also called as Virginia, which was held as the first permanent English settlement colony in North America in the early 17th century. He was called as leader of Virginia colony between September 1608 and August 1609. He was able to give detailed description of Virginia and New England because he led an exploration along the rivers of Virginia and also explored and mapped the coast of New England. So that is why he is able to give detailed description about these colonies which are part of North America. Now he was able to accurate map of Virginia because he explored these places, so he was better able to accurate map of Virginia. Accurate map of Virginia का मतलब है कि ये वर्जीनिया इस कॉलोनी के मैप को ढंग से लोकेट कर पाए बिकॉज इन्होंने इन जगहों को एक्सप्लोर किया था, वहाँ की आसपास की रिवर्स को एक्सप्लोर किया था. सो दैट इज़ वाई ही वॉज एबल टू accurate map of Virginia, and he published 8 volumes during his lifetime, and those volumes are titled as first is a true relation of such occurrences and accidents of note as hath happened in Virginia, published in the year 1608. Then is a map of Virginia. Another one is a description of New England. Then is New England Trials. So these are titles of volumes published by Captain John Smith. These are titles of another 4 volumes which was published by Captain John Smith during his lifetime, and these are the general history of Virginia, New England, and the Summer Isles. And then another one is an accidents or the pathway to experience. Then the true travels, adventures, and observation of Captain John Smith in Europe, Asia, Africa, and America from Anno Domini 1593 to 1629. Last title of his volume is Advertisements for the Unexperienced Planters of New England or Anywhere, or the Pathway to Experience to Erect a Plantation. Then with this particular video lecture ends here. Hope this video lecture will help you in your UGC NET English Literature exams. Thank you.